A poor girl finds a billionaire locked in a giant cage, but when she sees his face, she says, "You look just like the man in the photo my mom keeps in her purse." And what happens next shocks everyone. The sky was painted orange when June spotted the butterfly. It wasn't just any butterfly. Its wings glimmered with an impossible blue against the late afternoon sun. June had been drawing in the backyard, but her pencil slipped from her fingers the moment the insect floated in front of her. "Hi," she whispered, carefully extending her hand. The butterfly fluttered away, as though inviting her to join in a game. June glanced at the house. Mom was busy making dinner. She had mentioned something about onions and crying. She wouldn't understand about following a special butterfly. "Wait," June pleaded, running after the little blue speck that was now flying out the slightly open gate. She had never gone out alone, but the butterfly seemed to know exactly where to go. It turned at the right corners, stopped by low fences, waited when June fell behind. The quiet street branched out into others. June knew the way to school, to the corner store, to the playground. This path was new. The houses were more spread out, the sidewalks less tended. "Where are you taking me?" she asked, her curiosity outweighing her fear. The butterfly flew higher and then swooped over an old wooden fence. June stopped. The land behind the fence was large and empty, overgrown with weeds and scattered with the remains of never-finished constructions. A vacant lot, like the kind Mom always told her not to go into. The butterfly landed on top of the fence, opening and closing its wings as if saying, "Come on, come on." June looked behind her. She wasn't exactly sure how long she had been walking. The sun still shone, but lower now. Soon Mum would call her for dinner and realize she was gone. Just for a little bit, she promised herself, and her absent mother. She found a space between the fence boards. It was small, but June was even smaller. She slipped through easily, inhaling the smell of earth and tall grass. Her sneakers sank slightly into the damp ground. The butterfly moved forward, passing broken concrete and bricks. At some point, someone had tried to build something there. Now, nature was taking it back. June kept going, ignoring the small scratches the brush left on her arms. The butterfly seemed to glow more brightly now, as if it had its own light. And then she saw it. Hidden among tall shrubs and a pile of abandoned construction materials was a structure that didn't belong there. A cage. A cage big enough for a man. And inside it, there was a man. June stopped, suddenly aware of her own heart pounding. This was not normal. People didn't stay in cages. People stayed in houses, in offices, in stores, not in rusty cages hidden in empty lots. She should run. She should go back home. She should tell an adult. But the man moved. Just a bit. A slow movement, like every inch took great effort. He was sitting on the dirty floor, his back against the bars. The most striking thing to June was that, even in that terrible place, he wore a dark suit and a tie, now stained and torn, as if he had been taken straight from an important meeting to that makeshift prison. The blue butterfly flew in circles around the cage, as though showing June what it had led her there to find. Then it landed delicately on a wildflower growing between the stones. The man opened his eyes, tired eyes that took a few seconds to focus on the small figure standing a few yards away. June did not run. Something in those eyes felt familiar, and sad, and lost. "Hi," she said, in the same voice she used to speak to the butterfly. "You're hurt." It wasn't a question. It was obvious that he was... The man tried to sit up straighter, adjusting his soiled tie in a reflex gesture. His lips were cracked, his skin far too pale beneath stubble that needed shaving. Who are you?" His voice came out rough, like he hadn't spoken in a long time. "June," she answered, taking a small step forward. "Why are you in a cage?" "Is it a game?" The man shook his head slowly. "No, it's not a game." He swallowed with difficulty. You shouldn't be out here by yourself. It's dangerous." June tilted her head, confused. "But you're here." "Not by choice," he said, trying to smile, but managing only a tug of his lips, revealing a broken tooth. The tie, once perfectly aligned, now hung loose and stained around his neck. June moved a bit closer. There was something about his face, something that made her childish mind search for a memory. "You look like the man in the photo my mum keeps in her purse," she said suddenly, eyes wide at the discovery. The man froze. His eyes, which had been half closed in pain, opened completely. "What? Who is your mother?" "Mom is Mom," June answered, with a child's simple logic. "Her name is Nora. She has a photo of you in her wallet. You're smiling in the picture." The man grabbed the cage bars with injured hands, his fingers trembling, the thin fabric of his dress shirt tearing further with the sudden movement. "Nora," he repeated the name like a prayer. "Nora White." June nodded, surprised. "You know my mom." He took a deep breath, as if trying to take in the information. His gaze roamed over June's face, her cheeks, her nose, her eyes. Something in that look made June feel strange, like he was searching for someone else in her. "June," he said finally, his voice stronger now, "please, get help. Tell your mom you found me. Tell her I'm alive." "Are you sick?" June asked, noticing how weak he looked in the suit that must once have been elegant. "Yes," he answered simply, "and I need to get out of here. Will you do that for me? Will you tell your mum you found a man who looks like the one in her photo?" June nodded firmly. Helping sick people was the right thing to do. Mum always said so. "I'll bring Mom," she promised, already turning to go. "Wait," the man called out. How did you find me?" June pointed to the blue butterfly, still resting on the wildflower. "She showed me the way." And before the man could say anything else, June ran back across the lot, slipping through the broken fence, trying to remember the way she had come. The sun was dropping faster and faster. Shadows were lengthening. June ran even quicker, a new kind of fear growing in her chest. Not fear of the man in the cage, but fear she might fail to help him in time. Nora looked at the clock for the third time in 5 minutes. A cold hand seemed to squeeze her heart. June was late. 15 minutes since she had called her from the backyard. 15 minutes of silence. "June!" she shouted again from the back door, her voice jumping an octave with rising panic. The backyard was empty. A drawing lay abandoned on the ground. The gate stood ajar. No, Nora muttered, running to the gate. The quiet suburban street stretched out in both directions, with no sign of her daughter. She was about to run left, toward Sandra's house, her neighbor, where June sometimes played, when she heard a voice. "Mom! Mom!" June was running down the sidewalk from the right, cheeks flushed, hair sticking to her sweaty forehead, eyes wide with excitement. Nora sprinted to meet her, crouching down to grab her by the shoulders. "Where were you? Don't ever do that again. I was—" The words died as she noticed the scratches on her daughter's arms and the dirt on her clothes. "What happened? Are you hurt?" June shook her head, still trying to catch her breath. "No, I'm not hurt, but he is. Mom, there's a man in a cage. He needs help." Nora blinked, trying to process the words. "A man in a